Men who want to teach you things is absolutely a red flag, because out of the gate, they assume they're smarter than you. So yeah, let's get into it. When men assume that you have all these things to learn from them, and sometimes it can be very obvious and sometimes it's very subtle. When they're just like, hey, and everything is an opportunity to like teach you something, that is usually a very big indicator that they think you don't already know these things, that they are going to infantilize you their entire relationship and also make you their mommy. Like, it's this weird thing they do where they're like, I know everything, but I don't know anything, mommy. Mommy, do everything for me, but I know everything. Like, the way that men have figured out how to play both of those at the same time is brilliant, which is why, men may be stupid, but they're not dumb. If they were dumb, they wouldn't still have all the money and power. Patriarchy always figures out a way to redefine itself and adjust, like, like water. You know what I mean? So let me just actually start backwards. One of the big green flags of my husband is that, yeah, there's certain things that he teaches me that I don't know about, but he absolutely is teachable. And I don't mean like, first of all, if you marry a man, if you're a cishet woman and you marry a man, cishet man, you absolutely are going to be teaching him about patriarchy. Like, even the most evolved man, even the most educated man who's been, trying to deconstruct, they always have more to learn. The same way that I acknowledge that I will be deconstructing whiteness and capitalism and all these systems that I've been indoctrinated with. I'm going to be unlearning this stuff probably till the day I die. So yeah, my husband's always going to be learning more about patriarchy, but he's a really quick learner. And he also is a very eager learner. Like, he sees it everywhere. And he's like, oh my God, look at that. Like, we're at the beach right now. And he's just like, wow, all of these men don't do anything for their families. I'm like, yeah, look at the mom over there. Baby's crying, the dad's in the water. Kids are hungry, dad's not doing anything, and the mom is doing literally everything and not even enjoying herself. But let's talk about other things. He lets me lead. Like, I'm not the leader of our couple because I don't want to be a leader. I've been leading my whole life. I've been leading rafting trips. I've been leading wilderness adventure. I've been leading myself. I want a partner. I don't want a man to lead me because I know what I'm doing, but I also don't want to be the leader. Like, we're teammates, right? He's not the coach and I'm not the coach. On a regular basis, he asks me what I think we should do in terms of, like, what does my intuition think? Because he knows that, my intuition can sense, danger more than him. And also because I was a wilderness outdoor leader, I have a lot of experience. I have a lot more experience traveling, and I have a lot of life experiences that he doesn't have. So he absolutely trusts my instinct and lets me lead. And then other things that, like, you know what I mean? He's not like, he doesn't think that he knows everything, because that's one of the reasons why I talk about how men are terrible leaders, especially, having worked in the outdoors for so long. Men who are not emotionally intelligent, who aren't in touch with the needs of other people around them, who can't anticipate the needs of people and anticipate things that are going to make people feel unsafe emotionally, physically, or weather-wise, or literally anything. Those men make terrible leaders, and yet they think that they're like the best leaders in the outdoors, and they're not. They're reckless and oftentimes put people in danger. And fathers put their children and their wives in danger all the time with boats, with like everything, right? Because they're like, no, don't worry about it. Come on, don't be such a scaredy cat. And they gaslight their wives all the time, and then end up taking their whole family on adventures that end up getting them all like unalived or like put them in serious danger. So my husband trusts my intuition. He trusts my connection to my intuition. And he actually has learned a lot about how to trust his own intuition when it comes to creativity, because he's a writer. He's an amazing writer, but he's kind of like not as far along in his journey as me. I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been dedicated like the last, I don't know, almost 20 years of my life to my creative work. And so, yeah, I trust my intuition creatively more than him. So he's learning a lot. But you know what I'm learning from him? How to communicate in a healthy way, how to be in relationships. Like some of y'all know, I was a lone wolf, man. I did not date at all for most of all of my 20s and half my 30s. I didn't know how to communicate my needs. I didn't know how to like fight fair, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know how to deal with conflict. I did in terms of other things. Like, I taught that stuff in the wilderness, like conflict resolution and all that stuff. When it came to romantic relationships, interpersonal, like closest relationships, I was terrified of conflict. Yeah, I'm a survivor of like, DV and inchmess and all these other things. I've never felt safe to have conflict with the closest people in my life. I was unbelievably codependent, like chronically codependent. My codependency almost got me more than once. And so he teaches me how to be honest, how to communicate. Like, I learned so much from this man, and he learned so much from me. But if you are with a man who thinks that he knows everything, that is a huge red flag. Not only because that means he's not a humble person, he's not teachable, but it also like shows his misogyny, because so many men, they don't assume they know more than other men, but they automatically assume they know more than you just because you're a woman. And so if they're already trying to teach you all the time, that means they're probably infantilizing. They're probably going to gaslight you on a regular basis. And then when it's convenient, force you to be the leader in terms of the domestic sphere, in terms of emotional labor, childcare, really everything they don't want to do. All of a sudden, you're the leader now. You know what I mean? So the fact that right out of the gate, my husband was constantly, I mean, when we were dating, constantly really wanted to know my thoughts on things, wanted to know my opinions, asked for advice, received that advice, and then actually took it seriously. And then also gave me really great advice on things. Basically, he talked to me exactly how my best friend talked to me. My best friend Liz would never try to teach me stuff unless I asked for it or she knew that I didn't know that thing. So honestly, the biggest green flag is that I felt around my husband exactly how I felt around my best friend Liz, who's like my soulmate. I felt safe with him. I felt respected. I felt seen, listened to. I felt challenged in all the good ways, but never in the bad ways. You know what I mean? And I have grown so much as a human being since meeting Anthony. And that right there is proof enough. And also, he's grown so much since meeting me. We literally, came together as two full human beings and then met and we're like, wow, look who we're becoming because of each other. This is amazing. And if you aren't with somebody who does that, who you see yourself growing into a more confident, more a new person in all the best ways, right? Pushes you forward in your evolution rather than pulls you back. If you're not with somebody who does that, they're not going to be a good partner. They're going to actually derail your life, exhaust you, be a parasite, make you regret ever getting involved with them in the end. I mean, not regret. I have learned from every terrible man I've been involved with, but it almost cost me my life at one point. Men who are not teachable are going to treat you like crap, but men who expect you to teach them everything and have nothing to offer you, also going to treat you like crap. And if that's the case, you're better off alone, man. Date yourself. Because of patriarchy and all these systems, men like that will make your life worse, never better.